How's it been? Pre-season underway, new season not too far around the corner. How would you assess it so far?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been obviously tough work, like any pre-season is. A lot of double sessions. Most of them obviously in Portugal in the heat. Some tactical work, but mainly physical work, which is so important. I suppose as the season gets closer, the tactical work starts to come in even more, and you can see that heading into this weekend. So yeah, it's been good.
How would you sum up what the summer was like, where you came off the back of the most incredible end to the season and it was successful? You don't quite know if Martin is going to stay, and then he does. What was that process like, and you finding out about it and assessing where you go from here?
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, we ended the season on such a high. You end up winning 9 games in a row, which for any team to do that it's outstanding. To go on and win the double, obviously, there's so much that happened during the season, so many things that you wouldn't necessarily expect to happen. There's managerial changes, personnel changes, and you take a little minute of maybe 1 or 2 weeks and kind of process it all and kind of think what you've done, maybe watch a few clips back from final day or something like that. So it was interesting. It was good to kind of reflect and think what you could have done better and what we've done well. But yeah, football moves on. Before you realise you're back in, you're training again, and you're going again and trying to be better than last season.
How do you feel personally then? Because you end the season as number 1. It's the most unforgiving position. I assume Celtic will look to sign another goalkeeper, and that's more competition. That's just the nature of the beast in this position.
Of course it is. It's a massive football club. Competition's good. I think I've always said why I come to this football club 2 years ago. The whole plan was for me to be that number 1, and obviously I'm delighted I got that chance. But bottom line is I've got the shirt, and I intend to keep it. That's what I work towards every day. But yeah, I understand it's a huge football club that there's always going to be competition, and competition ultimately brings the best out of players. But yeah, that's my ambition, and they'll never change.
Does being that double winning keeper give you that extra confidence that you're ready for that challenge, ready for that fight?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I've never intended on being anything else. That's what I want as a footballer, as a goalie, especially at this football club. I want to be that number 1 and get better as I do so. It's an amazing club to play for. To get that chance towards the end and get that real taste of it, you just want more. And that's the right way to be. I think that's the mentality to have, and I think I'll get better as games go. But yeah, I'm glad to have got that opportunity, and like I said, I intend to keep that.
Did you feel that you grew, not just as a goalkeeper, but your character, your confidence, just from being in that kind of really high pressure situation and coming through it very well?
Of course, yeah. Obviously, you get thrown into such a intense moment. That week I've probably reflected back on that 4-game spell where I initially went in at Stuttgart, and then Ibrox twice in a week with the Aberdeen game, a sandwich in the middle of that. You reflect, and at the time you don't really have the time to think about what you've just done and what in terms of what type of a pressurised situation you've gone in. So that's something you reflect on after the season, like I said there previously. Yeah, definitely you grow as the games go on. You understand the pressure of being at this football club, which I think I do, and that's something that new players always learn very quickly. I've done that when I came in. That's what's expected of you, and you learn that really quickly.
Did you feel the nerves going into, particularly the Rangers game, in those circumstances, having just come into the first team? And was that different maybe when you got into the last couple of games of the season when there's so much riding on it, but you've come through that personally as well?
I suppose it's the old cliche, pressure to privilege. Like, it's, if you don't feel pressure or nerves, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. I find myself, a lot of footballers find themselves playing better when there's something on it, when there's nerves, certain level of nerves. Obviously not going overboard with it, but that's part of it. You've got to deal with that. That's part of your job. And but yeah, those moments that you experience as a Celtic goalie, because it's a sport within sport almost. It's a lonely position. Everyone knows that, and the scrutiny on the position is huge, and that's fine. You've just got to be mentally ready for that, and nothing kind of builds you up for that moment until you actually get the chance to do that. So yeah, hopefully I can keep doing that.
What have you used the summer? Some players maybe just completely switch off from football. Do you want the type to kind of look to see how you can make the next step, make the next improvement? Is that part of the process during the summer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I previously said it. I'm my biggest critic myself, and I want to get better. And I've got huge ambitions in the game. Mainly that is to really be the number one here and kind of take that position and keep that shirt. And whatever way you can do that, whether that's even being more consistent and just being almost like a safety net for your teammates. Because ultimately, if I can be a player that brings the best out of my teammates, that's the biggest compliment you can get from anyone, really. And ultimately, I'll always try and do that. So you spend the off season trying to figure out a way of how you do that, whether that's physically, technically, tactically, and then when you come back first day of pre-season, you strive towards that and set yourself targets for the upcoming season.
You've spoken about your ambitions personally. Where does the Champions League fit into that, the prospect of potentially playing in that competition?
Oh yeah, of course. Champions League for any footballer is huge. Obviously, it's a long way to go until then. Obviously, the season starts a couple of weeks before that, and we need to make sure we're ready for that. In the best physical condition and tactically ready for that. You can't forget them games, but yeah, when that then comes around, it's a different type of challenge. European football is different to domestic football. Different types of questions gets asked of you in terms of tactically and maybe physically as well. But yeah, it's an ambition of every single player. We obviously didn't get there last season. That's something that we want to do better this season and ultimately get there and be a part of those special nights at Celtic Park and away from home in Europe.
You're 2 weeks out from starting the defence of the title. I guess how prepared does the squad as it stands feel? How prepared does it feel in doing that? And from a squad perspective, how much do you think new additions might be necessary?
Yeah, ultimately we won the double last season, and it's a squad full of winners that have won a lot here. And obviously, if you can fine tune it somewhere, any football club obviously looks to do that, and I think everyone's got the full confidence that we'll be able to do that. These things take time, and like I said, there's a squad there that's won a lot of winners in there that ultimately won the double last season. And yeah, do we need strengthening in areas? Yes, of course we do. But you always build from a position of strength. That's what this club looks to do, and I'm hopeful that the club will definitely do that.
You speak about that winning squad. There's a lot of talk around the future of the likes of Daisa Maeda, Arnie Engels. How do you rank them as teammates? What impact do you think that would have on this double winning squad if they go?
Oh yeah, they're certainly one of the, if not the best players I've played with, and they bring a lot to the squad, not just on the pitch and stuff, but just in the change room in general. Big personalities, and yeah, it's a shame to lose them, obviously, but everyone understands the reality. If there's a big money bid come in for you, then that's something the club has to consider, the player has to consider himself. I can't really say much more than that myself, but it's part of football. You lose players come in. There's always a lot of change in the playing squad, and that's just part of it. It's just when the new ones come in, them understanding where you come in and kind of getting the gist of the tactical stuff that we want to work on, whilst understanding what this club requires of you when you play for it.
Just last one from me. There was similar sort of disquiet last season, between the board and the fans for a perceived lack of transfer activity, and players had to clear tennis balls and stuff off the pitch at points. I guess, what impact did that have on the squad, those sorts of protests, and as you say, these things do take time, but with the sort of current unrest as well, how keen are you to sort of avoid that as a player, those sorts of scenes again?
Well, ultimately we're the ones on the pitch doing the playing, and ultimately I think it all comes down a little bit if we play well. It's down to us to kind of put the performances out and block that out. That's part of your job, and people have the right to say what they want. That's absolutely fine. Ultimately, we need to go on that pitch and perform, and be in a place mentally and tactically to do that. you could see towards the end of the season how united the stadium was and how much of a push that gave everyone. Obviously it helps, and you could see that definitely helped us get over the line. But yeah, is our job is to very much focus what we can do on the pitch. We can't control anything other than that. That's the message, and we'll let the powers that decide everything else decide that. We just do the playing.